Hello everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very well. Bit of transfer news for you guys. We've got the new manager Enzo Maresca, and obviously new manager means that he will want a couple of new signings to try and instill his system and have players that will suit that system. Fabrizio Romano came out saying that not only is he going to have a 5-year contract, but we could be looking at 5 new players coming into the squad, which ultimately means that there will be players leaving. The question is, what players are we looking at, and what players will they be replacing if they end up coming into the squad and starting for Chelsea, which is ultimately what you'd expect from new signings, to try and get into the squad straight away. But who knows, they might be signing another 15-year-old from Brazil. I don't know. We'll have to see what they say. But yeah, I mean, one of the main points that fans have been speaking about throughout the season is defensively, how we've struggled to keep the ball out of the back of our net. We almost averaged 2 goals a game in terms of how many we conceded under Mauricio Pochettino in the Premier League, and that's obviously far too much. That's not sustainable at all. There's no team in world football that really, if you're conceding that many goals, you can push towards anything, even if you're scoring lots of goals. So we are actually looking at a goalkeeper for some reason. I think that, honestly, Petrovic is more than capable. I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper. I'm very, very impressed with Petrovic. People say that there's a low bar because of Kepa, and I agree with that to an extent, but I don't think there's been many games where I've looked at Petrovic and thought he did a bad job. So why would you replace that? If it's a similar situation like with Arsenal, and they had Ramsdale who was doing a good job, and then David Raya was available, and it's just an upgrade because he's so good, fair enough. But I'm seeing the name James Trafford from Burnley. I'm not really understanding why we should be signing this guy for 20 million quid when we've got Petrovic, who's coming in from the MLS, and he's settled in perfectly. For me, this is just a strange... It's just strange. Like, I don't understand it. Why would he want to join Chelsea and be our number 2? Where does this leave Robert Sanchez as well? Because if we do bring in James Trafford, Robert Sanchez is probably going to end up being our 3rd keeper and wanting to leave unless, he's just happy making the money being our number 3. But it just seems like a strange decision to me. If this is something Enzo is seriously looking at, maybe he's not happy with Petrovic and he wants a better ball-playing goalkeeper. I think there are better ones out there, but James Trafford's one of the people on the list. We're also looking at Fulham's Tosin Adarabioyo as well. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong. He's a centre-back from Fulham. His contract is going to expire this summer, and a number of clubs are looking at him, such as Newcastle and Man United. We seem to be the front runners at this moment in time. And look, it's a free transfer. It's nothing like what Thiago Silva was when we got him from PSG. We're not going to say he's as good as that, but he's a solid player. He's a good player, and I don't think he's going to be a direct replacement for Thiago Silva. I mean, how do you replace that? But if Chalobah ends up leaving, then maybe he's the man that comes in and fills that void. I don't really know, to be honest with you. We are also looking at Barcelona's centre-back, Ronald Araujo, who could be leaving the Camp Nou this summer. I really like this guy. I think he's a good player. I don't know how much he's worth, to be honest with you. I don't watch enough Barcelona games to judge, but I've seen compilations of him. I've spoken to a couple of Barcelona fans. I used to live out there myself, and they really like him. They think he's a good player, and I'm open to the possibility of Araujo joining Chelsea. I remember a year ago he was absolutely raved about. I haven't heard too much about him since, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about him. Do you think he's worth coming to Chelsea? Would you replace Chalobah with Araujo? Because for me, look, I've heard good things as well about Adarabioyo at Fulham, but he's not going to compete with Chalobah. I think he has too many lapses in concentration. He does have a mistake in him. And he's just a squad player as far as I'm concerned. We need some top quality starting players with ready-made experience. And at least Araujo's played in European competition. He's been at the top level at a top club with Barcelona. That's the kind of experience I would value at Chelsea, especially if you are looking at younger players as well. Doesn't matter if they're young necessarily, but what do they have about them? Have they only played 50 games at senior level? Or have they played in these competitions and won trophies and been there and done that? And that's what I'm looking for, really. We're also looking at Benjamin Šeško as well from RB Leipzig. He's a 20-year-old striker who's been playing in the Bundesliga this season. He's had a good year. He's had a very good year. 14 goals in 31 games with 2 assists as well. He played 8 games in the Champions League. He scored 2 goals there. The cup competitions, 2 appearances, 2 goals as well. Decent stats. But actually, if you read into it, not much better than Jackson. If anything, I think Nicholas Jackson might even have slightly better stats than Šeško. So I don't see a massive urgency to sign him ahead of a centre-back. I think that should certainly be a priority. And then a winger as well. I mean, Elise, I haven't heard anything new. For me, he is just such a clear upgrade on what we have. He is so much better than Sterling, 10 times better than Mudryk, and an upgrade on Madueke as well. For me, if there's 2 wingers, I'd try and build this squad around next season. On the right-hand side, I wouldn't mind rotating Madueke and Elise, and then on that left-hand side, Mudryk and Sterling, they have been pretty useless for the most part of this season. I don't see them fitting into the system either. I know that Sterling played under Pep Guardiola in a possession-orientated style, but I just don't see enough energy from the guy. I don't see enough energy. I don't see enough willingness to take players on. And for me, his hunger is just not good enough, and his quality is not good enough. At least Mudryk, you can develop. Whether he actually gets to that stage, we've been talking about it for more than a year now. I do think he's better than he was before, but very, very small steps. We need to see more than him. I think Maresca's going to know pretty soon whether he rates Mudryk or not. And ultimately, if Sterling's a player that the ownership can move on, Saudi Arabia are there. It's just a case of whether he's going to say yes or no. And I want him to go just as every other Chelsea fan does, but I don't think it's going to happen. He's very happy in London. Why should he come out and leave? Like, why should he do that? Let me know what you guys think. Do you honestly think it's an option for Sterling to leave Chelsea? Do you think he'll actually take any other offers? We've also asked about the conditions on Villarreal's goalkeeper Philippe Jorgensen. He has a £40 million release clause. Look, he's another good goalkeeper, but why are we looking at this guy when we've got Petrovic? This is the question I ask again. He's a ball-playing keeper. He's good with his feet. But is this really a priority at the moment when we have other positions that I think are more important? Ultimately, if he comes in and does a great job, you're never going to say no to a great keeper. But I think, again, it's not a priority for me. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree or disagree with any of the players we're looking at? And, you know, if we are going to bring these players in, I think it's quite obvious that Gallagher's going to be going, Chalobah as well, in order to get pure profit. We're looking at around 50 million for Gallagher, which I don't think is enough. I think we should be looking at a minimum of 60 million for him. 70 million, a bit of a push. And then Ian Maatsen will be getting an offer from Dortmund soon, but lower than 35 million, which is his release clause. They'll probably be offering something in the range of 25 million with a certain payout scheme. So they're not actually paying the money straight away. It's split over a certain amount of years. And as for Chalobah, apparently we value him at 25 million, which is an utter disgrace. How you can ask for anything less than 40 million? This guy's been a top baller for a while. And one of the few players that's homegrown, has won, and he's actually a leader. This guy is a leader. Yeah, for me, I think it's criminal that we're going to be selling Chalobah, but if we're going to do it, then at least get 40 million for him. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. More like 25 million. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if there's anything you agree with or disagree. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will try and keep you posted with some more Chelsea news.